guys and just meet new people at the pool. So, anyway, my first piece of advice is make it fun. I know you want to be with your friends and family, but being at the pool for 4th of July can be a very fun thing. So, some of my advice is wear like fun beads or a lei, even maybe get some 4th of July tattoos. You will be offered some food or treats, and you, of course, can take some, but make sure you're doing this on your break only. If someone comes up to you during your time on stand and asks if you want some of the food or treats, you can say, yes, I'll just get it on my break whenever I get off for adult swim. Or you can even tell them to set it like by your stuff and you can eat it on your break. You can also watch some fireworks after your shift is over. I'm sure some of you will be working till like 8 or 9 p.m. and you can stay a little longer and watch the fireworks at the pool. You can see the picture on the right is me working on 4th of July. The neighborhood that I worked for had a Kona ice truck come, and the neighborhood allowed me to go and get Kona ice on my break. So it was really fun. So it can be a great time if you just try to make it fun. But of course, there's some serious things also. The pools will be busy, and this increases the risk of incidents occurring. Hopefully, your pool won't look like the pool on the right here, but your pool will be a lot busier than normal. And that being said, there are some extra rules that you can create in case you feel uncomfortable. This can be something like asking people to not have big floats in the pool. The floats can get in the way, and you may not be able to see under them or see the kids that are around them, or even if kids are trying to get multiple of them are on the float at the same time, this can cause some incidents. So if you feel like there shouldn't be floats in the pool, then just nicely say, can we not have floats in the pool just because it's a little bit busier today? And people should be understanding. And also the same thing with balls. If people are throwing them and usually they're okay at your pool, since this weekend will be a little bit busier, you may want to ask people to not use balls this weekend. And if people don't comply with this, of course, you can ask an HR manager if you're having any issues. Or if you just want some more coverage at your pool, let's say the weekend is getting a lot busier than you anticipated. If you want some more people to help you out, you can let your HR manager know, and hopefully they can try to get you some help. This may be difficult, especially on the 4th of July holiday, but of course, if you're not feeling comfortable, then you can let somebody know. Also, music will be playing, of course, for the holiday, and if someone has it very loud, people may not be able to hear you or hear your whistle. And if this is the case, then just kindly ask somebody if they can turn down the music so that people can hear you. So, next, I just wanted to go over some of those primary and secondary duties. Can somebody tell me one of the primary duties? You can just unmute yourself really quick and say it too, because I can't see in the chat.
Ensuring patrons are being safe in the pool.
Yeah, so just like supervising, this can be stuff like scanning the pool. Remember a 10-20 rule from training. So it should take you 10 seconds to scan the pool and 20 seconds to respond to an emergency. And responding to emergencies can be stuff like first aid or making firsthand saves. If it's something small, first aid, like if someone just needs a Band-Aid, make sure you're seeing if your hip pack is filled up with those things so that you won't have to get off stand. You want to just be able to quickly hand someone a Band-Aid if they need it. And then if it's, of course, a higher emergency first aid, if there's like excessive bleeding or something that you need to help with that's a little more extreme, feel free to clear the pool if you're the only guard there, just for a little bit while you're responding. And then for savings, we have all learned in our trainings how to respond accordingly. So make sure you're just doing this, and you can either be doing like an assist, just helping someone to the side, or you might be jumping in and making a save. And then also on top of that, we want to have as little savings as possible. We want to prevent them. So we want to make sure we are enforcing all the rules at the pools. and make sure we are just looking at situations and seeing how it could escalate to become an emergency. For example, let's say we're having people trying to play chicken fight at the pool. We don't want this to happen when the pool is very busy, and this can just lead to drownings. Let's say a kid is pretty short and they start going over to the deep end and someone's on their shoulders. This can quickly escalate to a drowning situation, and we don't want this to happen. So you need to just be preventing as much as possible this weekend so there will not be drownings and you won't have to make any savings, because this can escalate very quickly from just a fun game to something that's very extreme. So now going on to our secondary duties. Can somebody tell me a secondary duty?
Cleaning up around the pool.
Yes. So things like maintenance, cleaning up the bathrooms, the pool deck, keeping everything looking good, and also just talking to customers if somebody's coming up to you and they are asking you like how long you've worked there, things like that. You can have small chit chat with them for a second, but if they start going on to tell you about their kid's soccer game next weekend or something like that, you don't really want to have a whole conversation with them when you're trying to fulfill your primary duty. So you are fully capable of saying, hey, like, it was great talking to you and great to meet you, but I'm going to get back to work now. I just need to make sure I'm on top of scanning the pools, because sometimes people will start chit chatting and they just got to get carried away. So make sure you're fulfilling your primary duties before those secondary duties. And all of these secondary duties, like the bathrooms or the pool deck and maintenance, this should be done on your guard break. If an incident does occur, so the main place that I really want y'all to be aware of is the stairs. The stairs can have incidents occur a lot more than other places in the pool, because parents will set their little ones on the stairs thinking they're safe there and that they can sit and they'll be fine. And next thing they know, parent turns their back, kid is in the water, and that you are responding to an emergency. So make sure you are supervising the entire pool, but I want you to also make sure you're being extra cautious of the stairs. The parents will be less focused this weekend. Of course, they will probably be drinking some alcohol, a little under the influence, and might be having fun with their friends and just get carried away and not really realize that their 4-year-old that can't touch is suddenly in the 5 foot part of the pool and something is happening. So you need to just make sure you are really being on top of this, because parents will be less focused and you need to make sure you are supervising. Also, with the pools being crowded, incidents are just more likely to occur because of kids not being able to make it to the side in time, getting tired and just trying to have a fun time, being at the pool for a long time. They might get tired more quickly. So, the pools just being more crowded, incidents may occur more often. That being said, if an incident does occur, we have incident response forms at all of the pools. These will be published next to those checklist forms at all of the pools. And if an incident does occur, first, of course, respond accordingly, talk to the family, make sure everybody's okay, and then fill out one of these incident response forms. You can also just let your HR manager know, shoot them a text really quick also and say, hey, I completed the incident response form, but just to let you know, I did make a save. So you can do that and make sure you fill out these incident response forms so that we have all of the given information of any of the saves that happened this weekend. And going forward, not just this weekend, we'll have these at the pools also, just for in general in the future. Also, incidents are very likely to occur during the transition between kids to adult swim. So it is extremely important that you are staying on stand until all of the kids have cleared the pool before you take your guard break. I know sometimes you'll be sitting in the sun, you'll be hot, and the kids obviously always act like they can't hear you when you call for adult swim. But you need to stay on stand and make sure everybody clears the pool before you get down. So I want everybody to make sure they're being more aware of this. If someone's taking a long time to get out of the pool, they're doing flips and waiting and just taking their sweet time to get to the side, feel free to whistle at them again and say, "Hey, get out of the pool. It's guard break." So just make sure you are paying attention during this time because it can be very easily someone's by the stairs and you're not paying attention and you turn around and next thing you know that they are in the pool and this is when an incident can occur. Also, slides can also be a place where an incident can occur. I know some of our bigger pools in the Chambly area do have some slides, so just make sure you are following the rules of your pool one at a time on the slide. And whenever the kid does come down from the slide, you're making sure they're coming up. I know sometimes that water can push the kids down, and this can be a very dangerous area where kids can uh, an incident can occur. So make sure you're just being more aware of this and you are always seeing the child come up before you're sending the next one down. This is very important. And also along the lines of slides, diving boards are also a big thing. So make sure you're only having one at a time on the diving boards. And also just a reminder that there's no floats. No one can have floaties jumping off of the diving boards. This can include like the arm floats or even life jackets, just because whenever they do hit the impact, these floats can contract and like hurt their necks or anything. So make sure people aren't jumping off with floats. And also in the deep end, make sure there aren't floats by the diving boards or anything, or in the deep end in general. We don't want a float getting in the way and a kid not knowing. And next thing you know, they're jumping and they're hitting the float. Coming down from the diving board would hurt pretty bad. So make sure you are clearing this. And this just goes with the prevention. Make sure you are enforcing these rules so that we are preventing incidents from occurring. So for our multiple guard pools, I know some of our pools are normally multiple guards, but some of our pools that are usually just individual, um, just like solo guard pools, are going to have more than one this weekend. So I just want to remind everybody that everyone should be on stand that's supposed to. So if the HOA is paying for two guards this weekend, or in general, they want to see two people on stand. So just make sure that everybody is on stand. And I know that some of our pools may have more guards than they usually do. So make sure that you are complying to this. I know sometimes it might be 9:45 in the morning and there might just be three people in the pool, but we still just want everybody to be on stand. Transitioning during the hour is somewhere where some incidents can occur, and I just wanted to go over that transition. I wanted to play this video that we created on our YouTube for you guys, just to play. So I just want to highlight the fact that there's always going to be someone that is supervising the pool during this guard change. Before the other lifeguard is getting off, they are still supervising, and then they hand the guard tube to the next lifeguard, and she's still supervising. During this transition, they didn't look at each other one time, and this is how it should be whenever you are transitioning. And the thumb of rule is whoever has the guard tube in their hands is the one that's going to be responding to the emergency. So if an emergency is to happen during this time, the guard that is holding the guard tube should be the one responding. And it is extremely important that we are always having someone that's scanning the pool, because if you're transitioning during the hour and you're just chatting with each other, talking and not paying attention to the pool, an incident can occur, and we want to be scanning the pool and responding accordingly very quickly. Another thing to think about is talking to the other guards about scanning zones and even hand signals. So, scanning zones, I know some of our pools that have multiple guards have already kind of established, but some of our pools, of course, during this weekend may have more guards than usual. So, before your shift starts, maybe talk to them. Hey, I'm going to look at this part of the pool and you look at this part of the pool. This helps just so that we're not having both of the guards looking at the same spot at the same time. We are getting more parts of the pool. And since it will be busier, there will be more people. We want to separate these zones. So make sure you're talking about this beforehand. And then also hand signals is something that you can talk about too. I know we've talked about those during training and everything, but If you need some help, someone's talking to you and a situation has escalated and you just want some backup, maybe talk about a hand signal that you can do to the other guard so that they can help you out. And if you have questions about the standing zones or hand signals and you're not really sure what to do, just ask your HR manager. Next, guard breaks are extremely important during this busy holiday season. So, my first thing is do not skip your guard breaks, please. They are very important, and I also want you to make sure that you're keeping them on the same schedule as they're supposed to be. Remember, most of our guard breaks are going to be at the 45 or the 50 of the hour, and then the kid swim will resume at the top of the hour. I want you to keep it at this schedule so that we're not having odd any like changes when the next guards come in. You don't want to tell them, hey, guard break is actually at the 13 of the hour. We just want it to be easy and smooth sailing. So don't skip your guard breaks or try to change them. Even if there's just one or two families at the pool, you need to make sure that you are still doing your guard break and adult swim and that kids are getting out of the pool. It is extremely important for you to get some time in the shade, drink some water, have some snacks, and of course, fulfilling those secondary duties is also very important during your guard breaks. This weekend, we will have the trash filling up a little quicker than normal, the bathrooms getting a little messier than normal. So, you want to use this time to fulfill those secondary duties. Go ahead and check the trash cans. If they're about to be full and if they're like, two-thirds of the way full and you think it's going to get full your next time, like the next 45 minutes, then go ahead and take it out just so it makes it a lot easier. You don't want an overflowing trash can like this picture right here. That is not fun to take out at the end of the day. It's not fun to have trash everywhere. So make sure you're just being on top of it. Also, people will be offering you the food. Hopefully, someone will have a good barbecue or some hot dogs for you guys. So, if people do offer you food, then of course you can have that during your guard breaks. And also, just make sure you are bringing your own food and snacks because sometimes people may not offer. So, just make sure that you have your own food and everything. And then also just make sure you're drinking water, not only on your shift, but also start drinking water today. If you're working this whole weekend, you want to be on top of it. You want to feel good. So drink some water, make sure you're staying hydrated, have some electrolytes, maybe a liquid IV, just so that you are extra hydrated. Next, the weather. On top of that, if you need to be drinking water because it should be beautiful. This is our forecast for our Woodstock pools. It looks like it should be about low 90s as the high and then low 70s as the low throughout the weekend. But of course, you'll probably be guarding whenever it's about 90 degrees and maybe feels like 100. So make sure you're dipping in the pool. Beware of heat exhaustion, not only to the other people that are at the pool, but also for yourself. You want to be in the shade as much as possible on your guard break. And also, if you have a umbrella at the pool, make sure you're trying to be under there. And you are drinking lots of water, drinking and eating on your breaks. And if something does happen to someone else, you are responding to them having heat exhaustion also. But we know Georgia, although the weather should be beautiful, it totally could become a storm like 30 minutes later. So make sure you're just being on top of that. If it does thunder, we all know the protocol for that. Call for thunder break and make sure no one gets in the pool for the next 30 minutes until the last thunder. So if it thunders again, just reset that timer another 30 minutes and without any thunder, people can get back in after that. Also, if it rains, you do have to stay on stand if people are still swimming. If it starts to pour and you can't see under the pool and it starts becoming a hazard, then you can clear the pool. But other than that, if it's just drizzling, then you do stay on stand. And then lastly, I just wanted to go over some general rules. Just a reminder, you are on duty. I know that it can seem like it's a really fun time and people may be asking you to play games like, oh, come play cornhole with us, come do this. They may even offer you alcohol. We've had this happen in the past. Even if you are of age, I know most of you guys aren't, so don't try to say you are when you're not, but if even if you are of age, like you are on duty, you have a role to be supervising these pools. So you do not need to be participating in any games or drinking. And this includes on your shift and even after your shift. Of course, you can stay and hang out and play games, but you should not be drinking alcohol. You need to remain professional because you are a lifeguard there. And we will find out. So do not participate in these things. The next thing is just to be aware of music and language. I know there might be some folks that don't really come to the pools, and there might be some middle schoolers that, of course, want to seem cool and might just be having a potty mouth. Make sure that you're just saying, hey, excuse me, please watch your language. Also, if people are playing like profane music and it's really loud, make sure you're letting them know, like, this is not okay. We have some kids at the pool. Just kind of being on top of that, just because we want everybody to feel happy and not have any issues escalate. Also, make sure you're watching for glass on the pool deck. There being people that may not come to the pool very often, they may just kind of forget about this rule. They may have bought their favorite pack of beer and totally forgot that there could be no glass on the pool deck. And you just need to be a little more aware of this. So if someone does have glass on the pool deck, just let them know that this isn't allowed. They can have it outside of the pool deck. So if there's a party kind of happening in the pavilion or anything outside, they can feel free to bring it over there and have it, enjoy it outside. But if not, then they cannot have it on the pool deck. Also, including that, the drinking may lead to some aggressive people. So, if someone is drunk or aggressive and someone is making you uncomfortable or an issue is escalating and you don't really know how to resolve it, then please contact an HR manager. We don't want people to have issues where they're feeling uncomfortable. So, just contact an HR manager if this happens. And then lastly, no sparklers or fireworks on the pool deck. This is something that people may try to do. They might just kind of forget that they are on a pool deck and they may do this. So make sure people are not doing that. Okay, does Lisa, do you have anything else to add? And does anybody have any questions?
Sorry, I was trying to find my unmute button. I would say just one additional thing would be no floats on the slides either. If most of these slides, except I guess it depends on your pool. So just you should know whether your pool rules for slides allow for floats to go down. There is one pool we have that has a deep end, and we have to be cautious about letting little ones in the deep end who can't swim. So just be cautious about that. Make sure that the people who are coming down are good swimmers. So that's it. That's the only additional thing. You did a great job, Audrey. So I'll let anybody who has any questions go ahead and ask.
Over at Pine Tree, there's not a checklist like posted. Where would the incident form be?
It's posted on, there's, the shed that's right next to the guard tent.
Yeah.
There, we put it up there yesterday. It's
Okay.
posted on the side of the shed. So it's close to where you're sitting. And to reiterate, your primary responsibility is to address the incident. So if don't feel like if you're having technical issues getting to the form, just text your HR manager and let them help you with that. But take care of the problem that occurs. And when you have incidents, it could be something that doesn't necessarily require a save. It could be something like somebody throws up or something of that nature. You are filling that out to just kind of let us know and also have a record of it if we get contacted by the HOA or the club about it. So it is more than just saves. It could be anything. So you have a kid who maybe falls off. I think there was one at Pine Tree couple weeks ago that fell off the stairs. That would be a case for an incident report. You didn't actually have to save them, but you may have had to administer first aid. So that sort of thing. So that would be what we need when we need you to fill it out. But as I said, you need to address the problem first. That needs to be your primary focus. And then after you're done doing that, go ahead and fill it out. Make sure to get the person's name and contact information, please. If it I say, get their contact information. If you're putting them on an ambulance, we can deal with that later. But yeah, so make sure that you're getting that information so we can do follow-up too.
And also,
All right, thank you.
if you are responding to an emergency, make sure, like, if it's something small, you also are talking to the parent too. I know even if you're getting like their contact information, just make sure they're okay and like introduce yourself. Hey, my name is Audrey. I'm the lifeguard here. I hope like everything's okay. If there's anything else that I can do, let me know. Just make sure they're comfortable before you go ahead and the next thing they know that you're on your phone filling out, like they don't know that you're filling out an incident form. So make sure you're talking to them, making them feel comfortable, and then letting them know, I just have to fill out an incident form. Like make sure you're communicating that because if you make the save, do something, whatever, and the next thing they know, you're sitting on your phone, they might be a little confused by it.
Yeah, that's a great point, Audrey. I didn't think about that. Yes. This is new for us to have something that we can do online like this. Used to be that you had a piece of paper you did it on. So this is important to communicate that you are not texting your friends about, oh, guess what just happened. Make sure they know that you're filling out this form. Thank you for that catch. Any other questions?
At Pine Tree, is all lifeguards gonna be on stand? Are we gonna have like 25 rotation breaks or like what's gonna go on with that?
You'll have adult swim for the fifth, I mean the fourth. The fifth, we can talk about it. What was your, Audrey, did you work the July 4th party at Pine Tree?
I didn't, but they did rotation where it was like 6 of them, so 3 people were on, and then they would switch. So it's a rotational for the party, but we can talk about that later too.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to say your question out loud, you can feel free to shoot it in the chat too.
And we'll put this, after the 2 today, we'll go ahead and record. We're recording it, so we'll put it on the YouTube channel for Dynamo. And you guys can watch it to remind yourself of anything. I thought Audrey did a good job of kind of walking you through it. Hopefully a lot of that will be memorable and you'll have some guidance on how to handle it. So anyone else have any questions? All right. Well, I say, have fun.
Happy 4th.
Yeah. Thank you, Audrey, for, she did most of this by herself. I gave her a little input, but it was fantastic. So I hope all of you got something out of it. Maybe hopefully learn something new. And let me know if you're on my team. If you have any additional questions, reach out to your HR manager if you have any additional questions and you didn't think of them today. And I appreciate all of you coming. I thank you for your time and have fun this weekend.
Bye. Thank you guys.
Need to figure out how to stop this video.
Yeah. Okay. Well, bye, Lisa.
Bye.